So I'm from the Institute of Liver and Biliary Sciences. This is the super specialty hospital in New Delhi, and this is one of the best in Asia because we are leaders in the cirrhotic and the HCC patient care. And this institute has the dedicated research along with the patient. So we are basically university and the institute together. So we deal with the PhD students. We have the DM student, MCH surgery students, and 12 kind of the degrees we provide through the MCI, the Medical Council of India. It's a recognized all programs. So I'm just giving you the outset of the HCC. It's almost by 2025, it is 1 million cases worldwide, and the second leading cause of cancer-related deaths. And major etiologies are basically hepatitis B, C. It was, but nowadays it is more of the alcohol and more of the non-alcohol fatty liver diseases, because you know that almost all in the globe that the diet is changed and the people are having basically fatty liver diseases, which is now running that it is going to be HCC more. And that's the reason after controlling the hepatitis B and C, still we are on the NF and D HCC patients. So what happens in the early stages, there is a chances of liver transplantation, resection or radioembolization. However, in the intermediate stage, when there is not only one tumor, there is more than tumor, there is again the radioembolization in the case. And in the advanced stage, when these two things are not working, we have of course the drugs, sorafenib, which is making it for the HCC. However, what happens, there are high recurrence rates here, there is a chemo resistance here, and there is a survival increased by only 3 months with the sorafenib. So this problem stays as such if you treat or don't treat. So what happens during the normal liver, when you have the viral hepatitis, alcohol or non-alcohol fatty liver disease, so liver start giving the fibrosis. Fibrosis, it's a fibrotic. This stage is a fibrotic 1, 2, 3, 4. So last stage is a 3 and 4 considered as the cirrhosis, and this happens due to the telomere dysfunction, enhanced integrin signaling, and certainly leading to the HCC. So after the even treatment, there is a recurrence because there is a generation of cancer stem cells in that. And after even dissection and chemotherapy, we believe that there are residual cancer stem cells and there are circulating tumor cells in this HCC lab, which cause the recurrence and the metastasis. So what happens? What is the CTCs and CSCs similarities? I'm not talking about what they are, but what are their similarities? If you just take a general picture, where is the tumor microenvironment, there are the CTCs also, which is the epithelial based, and CSCs also, there are cancer stem cells. But they invade into the capillaries, and then they travel, and then they go for the extravasations to the different organs also. So shared characteristics of CTCs and CSCs are they both play a critical role in cancer metastasis, spread of cancer from primary tumor to the distant site, highly resistant to the cancer treatments. Resistance is a major cause for the tumor recurrence and poor survival. However, there are overlapping markers, biomarkers, how you recognize the CTC or cancer stem cells, that is also ACTAM or CD133. They are overlapping markers, and they both exhibit the properties of EMT, a process that allows us to detach from original tumor and migrate. And of course, they have the ability to self-regulate. That's the reason they stay there together. So there is a diagnostic benefit. So we did a small portion of the patients because it has a non-invasive sampling. You can take the blood sample early detection of cancer and biological insight of cancer. Due to that, what we did, we took the few patients of the HCC and we found that can we see that in the blood CTCs, and because those patients are random, like with the single lesion also, they with the multiple lesions also, multifocal also. So we use the PAN-CT and CD45 markers, and then this patient is from with a single lesion and this is with a multifocal, single lesion and multifocal, and we have observed that obviously in the CTCs in the multifocal patients is much more than with the single lesion. It means those CTCs with a multifocal lesion are breaking down from the tumor and it is going to have the metastasis. So as I told you already that CTCs and CSCs are the similar characteristics. It is very difficult to do the mechanistic studies only in the CTCs, so we take over the CSCs first. And our question, our clinician main problem is this: when HCC happens, so what? What we can do? We can't do anything. We can only change the duration of the patient. That good life pattern we can change, but to restrict the happening of the or generation of the tumor, we need to go before that. So before that is what stage? Cirrhosis. So there is no data, there was no data that whether in the cirrhotic condition, how the hepatocyte, because cancer stem cell does not appear on their own. It is a transformation from the normal cells to the cancer stem cell, or normal hepatocyte change into the cancer stem cell. So there was a question, does cirrhosis, even fibrosis 3, 4 stages or even 2 stages, does that contains cancer stem cells? So what we did, again the similar study, this is the Ritu Khosla, now she is a Dr. Ritu Khosla. So in her PhD thesis, we took the cirrhotic liver and we took the HCC, this is a tumor, but side by side the tumor, there is a portion which is non-tumorous, which we considered as the normal, because you can't take the normal liver from anybody. So, and this is of course, this is the best way that you take the normal, because it has the influence of tumor or not, that also you can see. So we took the cirrhotic patient, we took the HCC and normal, and as I told you, ABCAM is the one of the best marker along with the CD133. So we chosen as a ABCAM positive cells. How? Because this is in the background that in the HG2 and HL7 cell lines, when we saw the expression of ABCAM was around 70 to 80%, and when we are seeing that this primary human hepatocytes, their expression in ABCAM was also low. So that becomes the first major biological marker which we can detect with the cancer stem cells, and we have seen that in the normal means this normal has the less ABCAM expression, cirrhotic has the expression, and the HCC. Of course, cirrhosis has a lot of expression. And then in immunohistochemistry also, we have shown the similar data. What was the next? Does these affect? What we did, we took the tissue, we have made the single cell suspension, and then we did the flow cytometry. We found that the ABCAM positive, we sorted those ABCAM positive cells, and then we did that the stemless genes. And if you can see, this ABCAM blue is an ABCAM normal stem cells, means normal patient or normal tissue. Cell means cirrhosis, and HCC means HCC, or ABCAM negative HCC also we took. When we are sorting, there is a negative and positive population, so we took the negative also to see whether that population also has. So you can see the yellow and the blue were not, but the cirrhotic and the HCC, they both had the stemless genes. So cirrhosis do express CSCs, that was the ultimate thing. And then we checked whether these have after many signaling pathways, we found that there is a lot of Wnt3 pathways running, and even with the beta-catenin, c-MET, cyclin B1. So we found that this is very interesting, that the Wnt3, because now there is no mechanism connections or molecular pathways are still known for the cancer stem cells in tumor and in cirrhosis especially. So what we did, we inhibited the Wnt. Now as Swanden told me the 22 minutes, so I have to rush my language also and fasten the slides also. So you please bear with me. And what we did, we used the inhibitor, Wnt inhibitor. And as you can see, this is a spheroid assay. Here is a negative, no inhibitor. Here is an inhibitor. This is a normal stem cells. This is a cirrhotic and HCC. As we put the inhibitor, spheroids were less. So then we found that spheroid goes away with the Wnt inhibitor. It means Wnt is one of the major, and we know that the HCC is driven by Wnt and the Notch pathways along with the hedgehog. Certainly, but it is more. So now isolated ACTM positive, we did the transcriptomics, proteomics, transcriptomics, miRNA, and here also we took the same, and these are not the 1-1 it is almost 788 patients, and then we found that the pathways, that if you can see, please pay the attention that there was a Wnt pathway was coming up very nicely, JNK pathway and Notch pathway. So because we started with the Wnt pathway and we blocked it and it was not happening, spheroid was going away. So we took it as Wnt pathway further, and then what we did, I just little bit summarized here that what is happening, that in ACTM expression in the cirrhotic, just see, and ACTM from the CSC means HCC, they both have the increased expression of ACTM positive. This ACTM positive is driven by the Wnt beta-catenin. Wnt beta-catenin gives the OX4 and analog and the SOX2 expression, which gives the increased stampedness and increased proliferation with the c-MYC and the cyclin D1 I have shown you, and which cause the tumorigenicity. So in cirrhosis and HCC both has the ACTM positive, both have the ACTM positive CSC-like features, and microRNA gene expression pattern of ACTM cirrhosis closely resemble to the ACTM positive CSC means ACTM positive HCC. So now further, little what's there, that we did the proteomic and microRNA profiling. If you go through this table, the most one is the 10.64 is the ACTM CSC versus normal, and ACTM CSC versus HCC also. There is a 10.64, 5.43 fold HSP8. But when we have seen, when we combine the microRNA and proteomic profiling, HSP8 is regulated by MIR26, regulated by 20, but it is inhibiting. MIR26 5P is inhibiting. Then we have seen that what is the MIR26 5P, what is happening? It is combining with the ACTM also, and it is giving the with HSP8 also. So it means HSP8 is a central regulator which is giving the ACTM also and which is regulating it by the MIR26B, because if you see MIR26B 5P is inhibiting the HSP8. So mechanistic story started from there, and we have observed that with this trio is happening with ACTM, HSP8 and the MIR26B 5P, and we have observed that the 26B5P was minus 24 level. If you go back, so if you see that here HSA 593P is also there, which is regulating, which is inhibiting. But when we see observe the expression, it was more with the 26B5P, whether it is a cirrhosis and this is the HCC. So we have observed that the RNA, relative microRNA expression in the ACTM CSC was very less than there was in MIR26B5P more. It means it is inhibiting, it is regulating the expression, and then there is a decreased MIR26B and increased HSP8. So it is vice versa. It is going with the CSC and HCC mode. So suppression of MIR26B5D enhanced the migration of HCC cells. What we did, we used the anti-MIR26, and we have seen within for 72 hours there was expression of this MIR26B5D relatively. When it expressed, it is giving the more of the HCC tumor, and it even the cell closure assay shows that when you use the anti-MIR26B5D, there the cell closure is more, and with anti-MIR26B5D, gap closure was completely more than the MIR-NC. So we know that APTEM has a target of MIR26B5D, and it directly also works for the stemness through the Wnt, Nanorm, Oct and SOX2. Then we have again used the assays of the using the anti-MIR26, that spheroids were increasing here and here. If you see that the both way, it means the anti-MIR was the one pathway, but story does not end here, and story says that in HSP8 as a target of MIR26B, can we also downregulate the HSP8? And we have used the anti-MIR26B5D and seen that the HSP8 is increasing in this, but when we have used the mimic, it was decreasing. So it solves the problem, and it gives us the best that MIR26B5D inhibits apoptosis through HSP8 mediated degradation of PDC3. So we summarize here again that APTEM was here expression. It is giving the OX4 nanogram SOX2. At the same time, MIR26B5D downregulation is increasing the APTEM and HSP8, which is giving the BBC3 through BBC3. We have the increased dampness, apoptosis, and CSC maintenance. It means in the cirrhosis we have the CNS. Now the question comes: therapeutic strategies. What are the therapeutic strategies we can afford? Because we have the target of APTEM. So what we did, we got this kind of a short project from the DBT to develop the anti-APTEM aptamer equipped with the bacterial outer membrane vesicles. What we did, we took the bacterial outer membrane vesicles, we put the aptamer on the top of APTEM on OLDs and loaded with the doxorubicin, which is the anti-cancer drug, for their anti-tumor effect by specifically targeting the CSCs. So anti-APTEM doxorubicin loaded OLDs for treating HCC. So we used the three aptamers, DNA aptamers 2, and one is the RNA DNA hybrid aptamer, and we have found that the docking capacity was certainly more in this 263, 256 and the 285. RNA DNA aptamer was the best aptamer with the cis5 on one side, which we can see fluorescence through the cells. And what we did it, first we found whether this APTEM aptamer is binding to the HepG2 or HUF7 cell line. We used the 50 nanomole, 100 nanomole and 150 nanomole, all these three aptamers, and we had found that the 89% with the RNA DNA binding is there here. And then what we did, we have found with the fluorescent microscopy that we found that again there was much more of the RNA DNA binding with the HepG2. This is HepG2 and this is HUF7 cell line, and we thought that this is the best aptamer for the APTEM, anti-APTEM. And then what we did, that we have used the OLDs. These OLDs, our partners from the Netherlands, they were making it the bacterial OLDs. What happens that this Salmonellum typhimurium bacterium, it itself has the killing ability for the any tube, but it has a toxicity also. So but the OLDs what they are producing, these OLDs are not toxic. So these OMVs plus dogs and plus we took the anti-FKM aptamer. So we used this as a target aptamer OMV dogs. We made the new device tumor and we did the IV injections, which showed us that the HCC shrinkage is there. We are still working on these OMVs. We are still working on that. There's much more anti-FKM aptamers we can use it, and OMVs we can use it for the different metastatic tumors and in the mice model. So this is my acknowledgement. Of course, all the tumor samples come from the clinician. Professor Shiv Salim is our director and the senior hepatologist. Gayatri Ramakrishna is my colleague, and Archana Rastogi is a pathologist. Ritu Khosla, who did almost all the work. In this last 3-4 slide, Pushpa and other students also did. I have the national collaborators and the international, and very thankful for the funding agency from the India. I'm very thankful for the peaceful audience.
Long live India and France friendship.